In a world where everyone has an opinion, here's another one. Welcome to A Bearded Perspective with SuperBeard Vince Hoover.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to A Bearded Perspective. I am your host, SuperBeard Vince Hoover, and here is the namesake to the channel. We're going to take movies, we're going to review them, we're going to rate them, and we're going to let you know every little detail that you need to know. And what better way to kick this off than with Black Widow, the first film in nearly 2 years, actually over 2 years, from Marvel. Unfortunately, last year was a little bit rough for all of us, but we finally got to go back to theaters. We got to see Black Widow, and here it is. Now, does it hold up to any scrutiny? Does it hold up to the hype and hold up to the wait? Well, I'm here to tell you. I will say that Black Widow is a very good film. Maybe not exactly what we needed to kick off Phase 4 after an extra time off, but it's still right up there. It has a lot of great moments, very emotional moments, and it was great to see Natasha Romanoff once again. The action is killer, almost John Wick level style. It was shot really, really well. There's some downsides to this film, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But let's talk about the positives first, and that is the family dynamic. And these aren't her real family. It was all part of a spy game. It was a mission. The Red Guardian, played by David Harbour, and Rachel Weisz's character, it was all part of a mission. But they grew to love the girls, both Natasha and Yelena. Yelena played by Florence Pugh. But we may be losing Natasha for the future of the MCU, but we gained 3 characters in her place, which is pretty awesome. David Harbour is funny and really tries to steal the show. But there's a little hiccups here and there in the film. I will say that Yelena is going to be an amazing character. So let's jump into spoilers, though. The biggest topic that everybody's going to ask about is Taskmaster. And I think, once again, Marvel drops the ball a little bit on a villain. Turns out the Taskmaster is General Dregov's, the guy behind the Red Room. It's his daughter. And the Budapest incident that we've always heard about through the Avengers and through the MCU finally gets told us, and that was where, Natasha was on her final mission to basically prove to S.H.I.E.L.D. that she was joining their side and not a double agent. And it was her job to kill General Dragov. And in doing so, used his daughter kind of as bait and ended up killing her, or so she thought. When she blew up the building, Drago got away, but his daughter was severely scarred. And so he put a chip in her brain and made her a mimic, and basically controlled her almost like a robot. And that's actually what the whole Red Room was about, too, at this point. After Natasha escaped the Red Room, Dragov figured he needed a whole new way to control these girls. He came up and used Melina, Rachel Weisz's character, to do so. A chemical compound that actually controlled the brain and eliminated free will. And that sucks. But it also kind of ties into Loki a little bit about free will. But there was an antidote. And Yelena ends up being one of the first ones to get it from an old Black Widow who escaped with the antidote. It was her task to hunt her down. She started to do so and killed her, but before killing her, was hit with the antidote and released from her chemical control. And that's where everything spirals down. Now, this event, we all were told it takes place between Civil War and Infinity War. And really, it's a much smaller window. It takes place not too long after the airport fight in Civil War, all the way up to the final scene in Civil War where Cap rescues everybody from the raft. The film ends just before that. There's a guy that everybody thought was going to end up being Taskmaster, and it turns out he's just a supply guy. He's her black market dealer guy. The guy gets her stuff she needs. I believe his name was Mac. And he gets her a Quinjet in the end, and that's the Quinjet they use. So it was pretty cool to kind of like tie in the little details. The end of the film ends with her going to get Cap so they can go rescue everybody from the raft. Taskmaster turns out to be a bit of a disappointment, but didn't die, and in fact joined all the other Black Widows from the Red Room who were cured of their chemical control before Dreykov was killed. So this really did set up a... Not only does it tell us where Yelena, Melina, and the Red Guardian are, Anton, where they're at during Infinity War and Endgame, because they're on their own mission trying to save the rest of the girls that are under his control all around the world, because he has sleeper cells all over the world. Not only is he out there, are they out there trying to do that, but as it turns out, there's a post-credit scene. Not a mid-credit scene, but a post-credit scene. Let's dive into that. Now, this was supposed to come out before the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series on Disney+. Instead, things got reversed thanks to 2020 being the year that it was. And we saw the Contessa, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, in Falcon and the Winter Soldier first. At the end of that, she recruits John Walker. Well, it turns out he's not the only recruit, because she also has recruited Yelena. And in the post-credit scene, we see Yelena trying to clean up and visit Natasha's grave. Final proof that she actually got a funeral. She has a nice tombstone with a lot of little gifts and flowers and stuff around it. Yelena's there. The Contessa shows up quite rudely and gives her her next target, who happens to be Hawkeye. So we know that Yelena is going to be in the Hawkeye series, and apparently she's going to be at least one of the antagonists for the series before what I'm sure is eventually she'll come around and most likely take up the mantle of Black Widow and join the Avengers. All in all, this film, it was a lot of fun. I went and saw it on an IMAX screen, which I can't recommend enough because it's really shot for that. There's great action. There's good emotion. Could we gotten a little more background on some of these characters? Yeah. Could we gotten a lot more out of Taskmaster? Absolutely. Some of the scenes that seemed like big climactic scenes in the trailers ended up being sub scenes and not the big climax. So that was kind of a twist. There wasn't anything that wasn't in the trailers. There wasn't anything that was in the trailers that wasn't in the film. So we got all that. So we're good there. But still, there was just... It falls just shy of Winter Soldier as far as quality goes. And like I said, part of that is the fact that the villain is just a little bit lacking. But there are some great scenes. The core to this really is the family dynamic and Natasha getting some well-deserved closure. Although there is a bit that goes unsolved for her. She always thought that her original mother, her true mother, abandoned her on the streets. And she was picked up by the Red Room and given a home. As it turns out, there was actually a deal made and she was paid off, but she never stopped looking for her daughter. And she got so persistent on it that General Dreykov actually had her killed. And when she tries to find out her name, Dreykov says it's unknown. So she doesn't really get that kind of closure, but she's able to still emotionally have closure because she realizes she has two families. And that's the Avengers and her family with Red Guardian, Melina, and Yelena. So, all in all, on this channel, we're going to use a simple rating system. It's going to be a scale. And it's going to be from goosebumps to loose dumps. Goosebumps are good. Loose dumps, not so much. And here's the scale. So, where does Black Widow fall? Well, simple enough. It's pretty good. I definitely recommend it. It's a great little kicking off point. Marvel likes to do this, kind of like use prequels or other characters. It's a good stepping off point to get back into theaters. It was a lot of fun visually. It's definitely like a big screen kind of film. I enjoyed it a lot. There's little Easter eggs here and there, but mostly it's not that kind of film. Like, you look at the Disney Plus series and there's tons of Easter eggs they put in there. This one, it has some, but it's really not about that. It's really about focusing on Natasha getting the closure and going through this emotional journey and bringing her second family into this. And now they're on a mission to save the rest of the Black Widow females that are being used as pawns, but now a pawn with no one at the board. There's no player anymore. Dracoff is dead. He blew up, and not like one of those. Did he blow up? Did he not? No, he blew up. He gone. And Taskmaster is with them, but it looks like Taskmaster might be becoming a hero as well. Or there could be some trouble in paradise there. Maybe the scarring and mental aptitude there just isn't there. So we don't know. But it was very weird to see Dracoff's daughter grown up and have a chip in her head as the Taskmaster. But where the movie falls down a little bit there, it's still very good emotionally. It's still very good story, and the action is good. I plan to go see it again. Maybe I'll have a different take on it. But for the most part, I think it was really good. You should go check it out. And the MCU is now up and going. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is our review for Black Widow. Let us know down in the comments what you think. Please give this video a like and share it with your friends. Subscribe, turn your notifications on. We greatly appreciate it. And I am SuperBeard Vince Hoover, signing off.